Welcome back to You Can Understand Shakespeare, because the fact of the matter is, you can. You just need the three P's. Remembering that it is poetry, that you require some prior knowledge, and it needs to be performed by someone who knows it. Luckily, I'm here to help you with all of them. We are in Act 1, Scene 2 of A Midsummer Night's Dream, where we're going to be introduced with the fool of this play, one Mr. Nick Bottom. Now, they enter in Quince, a carpenter, Snug, the joiner, Bottom, the weaver, Flute, the bellows mender, Snout, the tinker, and Starveling, the tailor. What you notice is that all of these are, they all work in trades, sometimes called artisans. So with all of this, it's common to understand that these are the comic figures. Well, really, everyone in this play is comic, but you can look at Shakespeare in terms of class to see who is supposed to be playing what comic role. Comedies can make fun of people of the higher rank, and often do, but you have to have an idea of social mobility or lack thereof, of distinctions between them for them to be humor. After all, a lot of comedies have to do with transformation, fluid identities, and this play is no different. So we have here a group of low class individuals. They are artisans. They do not have land or nobility. Rather, they must work. They must weave, be joiners, tinkers, and tailors. And so we're going to see why they all gather together. Quince asks, "Is all our company here?" Bottom responds, "You were best to call them generally, man by man." Now, right away, that is supposed to be funny. And maybe not even ha funny, but to point out that Bottom is a fool. If you're calling people generally, then say call them man by man. That's not generally. In fact, Quince called them generally. Is the company here? That's not speaking of anyone in particular. Bottom says you best call them generally, man by man, according to the script. To the script, they're putting on a play. Quince is running the show, but Bottom has notes for him. Right off the bat, we get the idea of what kind of person Bottom is. He has opinions. He's not afraid to share them, order people around, consider himself perhaps better than he is, and he's also a fool. Quince, speaking of that script, says, "Here is the scroll of every man's name, which is thought fit through all Athens to play in our interlude before the Duke and the Duchess on his wedding day at night." His wedding day at night, Quince is, despite being the smart one, also not the smartest. The interlude being a brief play. So he gives the reason for why they are there. Everyone that is gathered in this company is going to be putting on a play for entertainment for the Duke and Duchess. Uh, Bottom again has notes. First, good Peter Quince, say what the play treats on, what it's about. Then read the name of the actors. And so grow to a point, go to a conclusion. Quince says, "Mary," which is just say by the Virgin Mary. It's a colloquial expression. "Mary, our play is the most lamentable comedy and most cruel death of Pyramus and Thisbe." A couple things about this title. A most lamentable means sorrowful, worthy of lamentation, of weeping and such, but it's a comedy. So it's not necessarily a dramedy. It's supposed to be silly. This is supposed to be a name that is parodying titles. These existed at Shakespeare's time. I have a footnote here about how Thomas Preston has canvases, a lamentable tragedy mixed full of pleasant mirth. That's from 1570. And also, consequently, that's why good footnotes are helpful to know that Shakespeare's making fun of other playwrights. It also shows that Quince and his merry men, the company that accompany Bottom, are fools. They're supposed to be funny and laughable. They try to speak intelligently with large language, but they fumble it. Bottom says, "A very good piece of work, I assure you, and a merry." So it's good and it's merry. "Now, good Peter Quince, call forth your actors by the scroll. Masters, spread yourselves out. Don't group around." And there's something that could be a stage note. Guys, don't group up on us. Maybe they're all looking over the script. Whatever it is, Bottom is calling the shots. Quince says, "Answer as I call you." He's now reading from the script. "Nick Bottom, the weaver." Obviously, Bottom is there. "Ready? Name what part I am for," and proceed. Name what part I am for. What part am I playing? And proceed. This could also be kind of comical, right? "Hey, name everyone. Nick Bottom, the weaver. Ready? Name what part I am for, and proceed." You may now proceed to name the part. Or he could be saying, and continue on after that. "You, Nick Bottom, are set down for Pyramus." What is Pyramus? A lover or a tyrant? Now, so one thing we need to keep in mind is that Pyramus and Thisbe, this is actually a famous story from Ovid's Metamorphosis. And it's sort of like a proto play to Romeo and Juliet, as we'll sort of see in Act 5, two lovers that die because they cannot be together. But Bottom isn't familiar with this story. He is not educated in classical works. So he says, what is he, a lover or a tyrant? Uh, he says that Quince responds that he is a lover that kills himself, most gallant for love. Uh, he goes, that will ask some tears in the true performing of it. That task, killing himself for love gallantly, will require tears if I'm going to be performing well. If I do it, let the audience look to their eyes. That's funny. They can't look to their eyes, they look with their eyes. But he says, everyone best look to their eyes, for I will move storms. The amount of tears that I will produce will be like storms. I will condole in some measure. Condole means lament or arouse pity. Perhaps he means console because they will be weeping. I will move to the rest. Yet my chief humor is for a tyrant. Their humor means inclination, temperament. Think of like the four humors. It's clear that he doesn't necessarily want to play a gallant lover. He wants to play a tyrant. I could play Heracles rarely, meaning excellently. Heracles being Hercules. This is a. There's no here that this is a stock ranting role, a role of a ranter, of a tyrant. So he says, I can do that rarely, or a part to tear a cat in, to make all split. To tear a cat in means to rant in. To make it all split means to go to pieces, to tear this apart. And he gives an example. The raging rocks and shivering shocks, that's shattering blows, shall break the locks of prison gates. And Phoebus's car shall shine from far and make and mar the foolish fates. Phoebus's car, that's the chariot of Phoebus Apollo, the sun god. And it says that the odd spelling here may represent Bottom's pronunciation. So he's giving an example of how he could play Hercules here, and he has some verse to share. And at the end, he wants to comment on his performance. He says, this was lofty. And apparently he sort of talked himself out of or into playing the part because he commands Bottom, now name the rest of the players. And perhaps this is a spot where Quince would begin speaking because Bottom perhaps would interrupt him and say, this is Heracles' vein, a tyrant's vein. A lover is more condoling. And there perhaps he does mean lamentable or arousing pity. He's trying to show that he can do it all. And I want to point out here one of our main P's, which is performance. Actors are supposed to do this. So there's a lot of jokes that are really going to be sort of in the performance. After all, reading the raging rocks and shivering shocks shall break the locks of prison gates, etc., all that. You read it and you go, oh, it rhymes, great. And then the delivery, this was lofty. It's so easy to see Shakespeare and to go, well, that's not funny. It's so easy to read Shakespeare and to think this is supposed to be intelligent and high. You'd rather need someone who knows first how to read it and then how to perform it in order to get the jokes. That would effectively communicate Bottom as an idiot that has a very high opinion of himself, who orders people around, and people that don't understand that he's not really worthy of that authority listen to him, but he still is sort of having to be put up with. All of these have to do with interactions with Quince, especially, who is sort of like the stage manager or director of their crew, but answers to Bottom. It takes a lot of back and forth performance that would open up when it's not on the page. So definitely check out this scene in a performance. Quince calls the next person, Francis Flute, the bellows mender. Flute answers, says, here, Peter Quince. Says, Flute, you must take Thisbe on you. You're going to be playing Thisbe. Flute also doesn't know the story. What is Thisbe? A wandering knight, like a knight errant. Think like one of the knights of the Round Table. It is the lady that Pyramus must love. Flute says, nay, faith, let me not play a woman. I have a beard coming, which is funny. It's as if he'd probably be playing like a young boy who's a beard coming in who wants to be manly. This would be in the tradition of having young boys play women, like how they did in Shakespeare's. Quince says, that's all one, meaning that's all irrelevant. You shall play it in a mask, and you may speak as small as you will. So here I have a note that says, Elizabethan ladies regularly wore masks to remain anonymous and to protect their complexions. So they don't become tanned. Even though tan may be a standard of beauty now, that was not the case for Elizabethan England. Because if you're tan, that meant that you worked outside, and that meant you worked. You weren't nobility. So it was actually pale and protecting of the complexion. Preserving your beauty was all had to do with class. And he said, well, you will play it in a mask. So you can speak as small or as high-pitched shrill as you will. Bottom wants to leap in. And I may hide my face, and means if I may hide my face, let me play Thisbe too. I'll speak in a monstrous little voice. Again, that's funny. Monstrous but little. Thisne, Thisne. He gets it wrong. He's constantly misspeaking using malapropisms like monstrous little voice. Um, so he's saying if I could hide my face, I'll play that too. What's it going to be, Bond? You want to play the tyrant? You want to play the love interest? He wants to kind of just play every role. Perhaps if you've ever been an actor, you know one of these individuals. So he's pretending to be Pyramus first. Thisne, Thisne. Now he's going to play Thisbe. Ah, Pyramus, my lover dear, thy Thisbe dear, and lady dear. He wants to do the entire play as a one-man show. Quince pushes back. No, you must play Pyramus. And flute, you, Thisbe. Bottom says, well, proceed. He could be miffed. There's a lot of ways that you could sort of take this. Perhaps he's convinced. Who can say? The actors, the directors. It's a performance. Quince calls Robin Starveling, the tailor. Here, Peter Quince. Robin Starveling, you must play Thisbe's mother. On to Tom Snout, the tinker. Here, Peter Quince. You, Pyramus's father. Myself, Thisbe's father. Snug the joiner, you, the lion's part. So apparently there's a lion in there. And I hope here is a play fitted. It is well cast. Snug says, have you the lion's part written? Pray you, if it be, give it me, for I am slow of study. Pray you is a way of saying please. If it be, meaning if the lion's part is written, give me that written part, for I am slow of study. It takes him a long time to study. Memorization. Quinn says, you may do it extempore, for it is nothing but roaring. You don't need it written, you're just going to roar. Bottom has an idea. Let me play the lion too. I will roar that I will do any man's heart good to hear me. I will roar that I will make the Duke say, let him roar again. Let him roar again. Quinn says, and you should do it too terribly. You would fright the Duchess and the ladies, that they would shriek, and that were enough to hang us all. And means if, meaning if you did it too terribly. This could be terribly as if your performance was bad, or it could be terribly as if you were to invoke terror with your roars. Then the Duchess and all the ladies would scream, and they would want to hang us for offending the ladies. Now, there's a couple different ways you could take this. Perhaps Quince truly thinks that Bottom is a fantastic actor. That's a really funny angle to take here. Then they would truly be afraid that they would be hanged. Of course, the Duchess is an Amazon, a warrior queen. Probably wouldn't be afraid of an actor. He could be also appeasing Bottom. This is something for the actors to figure out. There's so much more here in the relationships than just what's in the text. Does Quince humor Bottom? Does he truly admire him? Is he miffed getting ordered and bossed around? Or does he think that Bottom is in charge? These are relationship and hierarchical communication that needs to be figured out by the actors and the director for a specific play. So you could watch the scene a million times over and have a lot of different ideas about where the humor comes from, how lines are delivered. So definitely check it out. And that has to do with all Shakespeare, right? There's only so much on the page for as much as there is. Everyone is afraid. That would hang us. Every mother's son. That's just an expression for every one of us. Bottom says, I grant you, friends, if you should fight the ladies out of their wits, they would have no more discretion but to hang us. He's saying that you would do that. But I will aggravate my voice so that I will roar you as gently as any suckling dove. He says, I will aggravate my voice. He means moderate. Aggravate would be to you don't want to aggravate your voice. It's like where you're shouting. Again, he's using a malapropism. He's using the wrong word for his voice. He says, I will roar like I am a suckling dove, like I am a, let's see what it has. It's number one, it means a sitting dove and a sucking lamb. So even there, he's combining two different animals. He says, I will roar you and twir any nightingale, as if it were any nightingale, which is a bird. So I'm not going to be a scary lion. He's trying to convince him. Quince says, you can play no part but Pyramus, for Pyramus is a sweet-faced man, a proper man, as one you shall see in a summer's day, a most lovely, gentleman-like man. Therefore, you must needs play Pyramus. Again, a lot of ways to interpret this. Is he schmoozing Bottom? Is he trying to play to his ego? Does Quince actually think these things? Maybe he has a crush on Bottom. Bottom is convinced, well, I will undertake it. What beard were I best to play it in? I should wear a beard, which I played in. Quinn says, why, what you will, whatever you want. Bottom says, I will discharge it meaning I will perform it in either your straw-colored beard, your orange tawny beard, your purple ingrain beard. Purple ingrain means very deep red beard, or your French crown color beard, your perfect yellow. Quince responds that some of your French crowns have no hair at all. So this is this idea, your French crowns referring to a head. A French crown has no hair at all. I've noted here that this is referred to the baldness caused by venereal disease, which is called the French disease. So it's a little bit of a common joke about the French having venereal diseases. Perhaps that's something that without prior knowledge would be lost on us as a bit of a joke. But masters, here are your parts, hands out the scripts to all of them, and I am to entreat you, request you, and desire you to con them by tomorrow night. Con them means memorize them. And meet me in the palace wood a mile without the town by moonlight. So he's given the plan. Go, take these parts, rehearse them, memorize them. We'll meet them a mile outside the town at night. There we will rehearse. For if we meet in the city, we shall be dogged with company, and our devices known. Our devices meaning our plans. They don't want a company outside of those there to dog them, to surround them, to learn their plans, which is to put on the show. In the meantime, I will draw a bill of properties such as our play wants. A bill of properties, think of a bill like a list, like the Bill of Rights. It's not a bill that you have to pay, rather it is a list. And of properties, those are props. That's things they need to perform the show. He will drop that bill of properties such as our play wants or needs for the play to happen. Because I pray you, so again, he's asking, please, fail me not. Bottom has to get his 2 cents in. He says, we will meet, and there we may rehearse most obscenely and courageously. Again, he means, he doesn't mean obscenely, which would be inappropriate, but rather he means out of sight, meaning from the scene or from being seen. We will be seen without being seen by anybody, not obscenely, which means something more graphic, right? Something of like obscene language that shouldn't be seen. So he has the right root there, but not exactly the word that should be used. He says we'll also meet courageously. We're going to hide, but we're also going to be courageously. Take pains, be perfect. That means take the pain of learning to be perfect in your part. It says adieu. Quinn says, at the Duke's Oak we meet, giving them the meeting spot out in the wood. Bottom says, enough. Hold or cut bowstrings. That simply means be present at the rehearsal or else you quit the troupe. Perhaps that's what it means. It's funny, there's a little question here on the footnote of what exactly he means there. Perhaps he goes, all right, that's enough. Keep going, or we're going to cut the bows. I actually don't really know what he means. I'm just going to be honest on that one. He's bottom. It's so interesting because there's so many things that he means, so many things that he says instead. And it's sort of what Shakespeare is trying to communicate about what he thinks and what he means as jokes. And so sometimes the fools are the hardest people to read, but they can also be absolutely the funniest. So that is Act 1, Scene 2. We will notice, for those who are paying attention, that they're going to go meet out in the woods, around the exact place where the lovers have decided to go out. So that's the end of Act 1. Act 1, where you introduce all the major players and the major conflict, which is for Demetria and Lysander and Hermia to flee away, for Helena to follow after them, having told Demetrius, and for the players to go practice. So all of our main characters, at least that we've met so far, we have a couple more to be in the next scene. All of our main characters are going to be at the same place at night in the wood on the midsummer's night. And so perhaps now the dream can begin. Hey, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you in Act 2.